Hello there. Welcome to a special bit of KTAR content. I'm Kellen Olson, joined by former AEW Women's World Champion. Every building she steps in is her house.
That's right.
It's Saraya. Hello. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
You are with AEW All Elite Wrestling, of course. You are here to promote tomorrow's show that is on Wednesday. That is All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite and Rampage. Go there to see her wrestle,
yeah, that's
of course.
It.
But on top of that, Wednesday's show, the Dynamite show, stacked card. I think it's something that myself as a fan, you'd get my $50 for the pay-per-view. You've got Hangman and Swerve Strickland, Darby Allin and Sting taking on Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the AEW World Tag Team titles. We've got Toni Storm and her.
He's doing my job for me. I don't even have to talk. This is great. I love it.
I'm trying.
You make my life so much easier. Now I don't have to remember stuff.
I don't know what's been going on.
Who's on again? Yeah, no, it's great.
I don't know what's been going on with your friend Toni Storm lately. A friend might be
can I cuss on here? No, probably not.
No.
But she's nuts. She's definitely nuts in the most wonderful way.
She's going a little cuckoo, but in that way where she's highly entertaining. She'll be wrestling Red Velvet as well. Yeah. Very lighthearted, I guess you could describe her as.
Sure.
Just wanted to run through the event, of course, to start, and then Rampage right after, which is where you'll be wrestling in a 6-woman tag. Willow Nightingale being too happy and annoying. You got to set them straight, I'm sure, right? In some kind of way.
It's a 6-woman? I thought it was just a regular tag match.
I don't know exactly.
I thought I think it's me and Ruby versus Stat and Willow.
Okay. That'll be great. I'll be sticking around for that for sure.
With Stokely on the outside, and then you have Harley on the outside too.
Speaking of people who talk too much, there you go. That's Stokely.
That's Stokely. You know what? I talk a lot too, though. So he probably beats me in that department, but I do talk a lot, especially on the outside.
Well, it's great to have you here because we don't really have an audience that is all that too familiar with wrestling. But for those that don't know this about you growing up in the business, so there's few better qualified to talk about it than you. Just what makes AEW so special in a live event like this specifically? Because we're going to have a lot of people watching who may be on the fence, maybe they're a wrestling fan, but they haven't been to a show in a while. Why should people check it out?
Well, it's just a different flavor of ice cream, isn't it? It's like I like to say the Rebels kind of thing. Like, you know, you have like a certain company and then you have the rebellious company. It's awesome. And then you have people, the talent like Daniel Bryan and Jon Moxley and Sting and Edge anymore, but Adam Copeland and Christian and all these wonderful people that are part of it. And then you have the homegrown talent such as Darby Allin, and then you have the MJFs, and you have the Britt Bakers and all these wonderful, you know, talent. You have to watch just for them in general. And the crowds are always rowdy. They're always a good time. They're always like, you know, filled up, and I don't know if everyone's drinking or not, but all rowdy out there, and I love it. Yeah, I have a great time. And they're very involved as well. Like, well, when I like to be the outside ring princess. I don't like to wrestle very often. I like to be the princess on the outside yelling, but people like to interact with me, and it's really fun. Like, no one's too good to interact in an AEW crowd.
I'm sure there's some still pretty exclusive seats left a couple rows up. If you say something to Saraya, she will turn around and she will give you a piece of her mind.
I don't care if you're a child, an old lady, I will give you one of these.
Whenever they cut a camera to you, you're talking to someone.
Oh, I'm yelling. I'm yelling constantly. I have to drink like Zach, he's my makeup artist. Yeah. He also like knows that I yell a lot, so he brings me a lot of throat coat tea and stuff before I walk out there because I yell so much. But you know what? People end up loving it, especially if you're front row, and then people take videos and they post it onto TikTok and whatever, and it gets like hundreds of thousands, even millions of views. So it's like it pushes me to do it more because it's fun. It's fun. People like that interaction with wrestlers.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's one of the many things that I appreciate about you guys, is that you understand that few seconds is going to make someone's day, year, the whole kind of thing. And something else I really appreciate, about what you guys do is the travel schedule. You just came off a flight and landed here. Can you detail that a little bit, what you guys go through on like a weekly and a yearly scale in terms of travel?
Yeah, I'm actually quite fortunate with my schedule. It used to be a lot more for me. And I know everyone in AEW has a heavier schedule than I do, and I'm definitely grateful for what I have right now because it is very busy. Like, you spend, like, you know, the days off that you have, you're doing media to get more people to come to the show and to get the word out there about AEW, and then you as a wrestler too, you know, so you're constantly on the go. And then not only that, when you're at home, you do Zoom calls, you do interviews via, you know, Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff, and you're doing business meetings, and you're trying to get your stuff done because then you have to fly out the next day because we have have Dynamite and Rampage filmed on Wednesday, and then we have Collision filmed on Saturdays, and then sometimes we'll have pay-per-views, so it's definitely a hectic schedule, and like I came in and sometimes the flights will get delayed and then I land and I have to come straight to these interviews, do the makeup on the plane. Luckily my makeup artist was with me to get it done, but it's a busy schedule, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it.
That's great. I come from the basketball world. That's what I do for a living. I cover a basketball team, and they have a very rigorous physical schedule that I would honestly compare to you guys have been. Yeah. There's some people there, the wrestling is fake shtick that we don't care about and all that kind of stuff. But you guys are athletes and performers at the same time.
You have to train. You have to go to the gym. Some people take even acting classes and all that kind of stuff because you want to perfect your art. So it's a lot of work, and people do think it's easy, but hello, I had to retire at one point and here I am.
That's what I wanted to ask about. How are you trying to really maintain yourself physically at this stage in your career? Because for those that don't know, you went through a very serious neck injury. Yeah. We thought it was for good.
It was supposed to be for good.
Supposed to be, and then luckily you kept at it, and here you are.
Yeah. So they told me I'd never wrestle again. That was it. Like, I lost all the spinal fluid around my spine. I was done, and then I came to AEW and Tony was like, well, let's go get checked out at the doctor and see what the deal is with your neck. He was like, you don't have to wrestle, but it'd be nice to see where you're at, And, I've remained sober for nearly 6 years, and I don't do anything like crazy anymore like I did when I was younger, So, I went to the doctor. I was completely cleared by a doctor in a non-wrestling related doctor. So the bias was put aside there, you guys. It was a doctor that did like basketball players, football players, A-list celebrities and stuff like that. So he wasn't trying to put his job on the line for me, So he said I was good to go, and then I can take it at my own pace. So I don't I would wrestle a lot, but it's like the girls being like, maybe we should take it down a notch, So I try to take it easy a little bit, but you work out, you eat good, and all that kind of stuff, and the rest is history, dude. I don't know what the secret is. I guess I'm Wonder Woman. I'm just joking, but I don't know.
Hey, I'm not the one to say.
Yeah, I don't know how I got fixed, you guys, but my neck just decided.
I think also maybe a decade ago you would have just kept going and not listened to anyone. But
exactly.
You've probably matured as the years have gone on.
That's exactly right, because the first time I had a neck injury, I had a year and a half out, and I was like, I need to go. I need to get back in the swing of things. So I was wrestling on all the live events with WWE Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so I was constantly wrestling and pushing myself a little bit too hard. Where this time I'm like, I'm going to take it easy. I'm not going to throw myself out there. As much as the internet wants to be mad at me if I'm not wrestling every single week, I give a, but it feels good. I feel healthy, which is the main thing.
I think the fans need to realize that you're doing what's best for you, and at that point, if you're not wrestling, it's for a very specific reason, and we appreciate that.
You can't make them happy though. Sometimes that's why I stopped caring, because you could wrestle too much and they'll be like, you're wrestling too much, you're taking too many bumps, or you could wrestle less and they're just like, why even get cleared? You're barely wrestling. So you're just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what you're saying anymore. I stopped caring a long time ago.
I just snickered to myself because I thought of the, is it like Women in Wrestling? Is that what you called it? Like the little skits you guys were doing?
Oh, yeah.
Those were amazing.
Yeah. Can I have another one locked and loaded, but...
There's few things worse to be on the internet than a woman in wrestling, excuse me. And you guys in that skit kind of go through all of the day-to-day sort of cliches that people come to you about, right?
Yeah, and you know what? So like some of the people were telling on themselves by getting mad at it. I'm just like, it's very lighthearted.
Yeah.
But a lot of people loved it. Like I would say like 90% of the people like really loved it, and they were like, we need another one. I have one, but I'm not going to post it for a second. I need to let the other two breathe a little bit. But yeah, it was really fun, and it brings the girls together too, because we're all in the same boat with this kind of stuff, and we all deal with the same stuff every day with certain people and certain fans and certain just whatever it is. So it's really cool that as a group we can just make these videos, and it's fun. You're at work, and it's a fun thing to do together. We're laughing and joking,
Yeah, it's great. You were a part of the Women's Revolution, which is really just one of the pivotal moments in wrestling history, I think, and it's been so great to see the steps that have been taken in a decade, and also makes me as a fan more excited to see the steps that continue to get taken as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what you took from that experience that you've taken to AEW? Because as you mentioned, you're in a locker room and you're looked at as a veteran, and I'm sure people come to you with advice and and all sorts of things.
I try to say, like, this is the one thing I try to say. Don't take as many bumps. But you know what? Everyone's a lot younger than me in AEW, and they're going through the stage that I went through where I want to take a billion bumps all the time. So I'm just like, try to save your body a little bit. But you know what? When I was at their age, I didn't listen either. I was just like, I'm going to do what I want. But they're so they are receptive, and they're an amazing group of girls. This is one of my favorite locker rooms I've ever been in. Like, everyone's very supportive of each other. Everyone's very sweet to each other. And I feel like that's the key to having a revolution, is being able to work so well with each other that you want to go in the ring and you want to give 110% for one another, but also the crowd too. So that's one thing that's really important, is the relationship that you have back there. And everyone just is so very cohesive. They're very glued in the right places. They're awesome.
The future and present of the division is so promising, and a lot of that has to do with international flavor like yourself. There's Tony Storm, Mariah May just got here, Hikaru Shida, Riho. There's so much of that. So you're someone who grew up wrestling in that kind of situation internationally. How much have you seen that scene grow, and also the opportunities for those types of wrestlers in the United States now?
In England or Japan?
Just internationally, in general, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, so when I was growing up, it was for women's wrestling too. I remember I wanted to, come to America, and I wanted to be in the biggest companies and all that kind of stuff. And what I did was write a wrestling resume. And this was when I was like 14 years old. And so I sent them out to everybody. And this is how I started getting like momentum on the indies and stuff. But there was one company, it was Irish Whip. I don't know if they're even still around anymore. But I sent them a resume, and they were like, we don't take women's wrestlers. And I was like, you'll regret that.
Yeah.
You will regret that, And so it just made me like, it egged me on even more to want to be successful as a female wrestler, because it's tough in the streets back then. Especially, it was very tough in the streets to try and make it as a female. Like, it was very selective who they wanted, and it was very selective in like which company would even accept female wrestling. So we just wasn't, I guess, trusted in a way where they thought we weren't as we couldn't be monetized,
Yeah.
When in reality, it's the complete opposite. Like, women nowadays, like, sell more merch than some of the guys. They put more butts in seats than some of the guys. The lines at signings are longer than some of the guys. And I feel like people are, like, have really, figured that out, which is really special. It's like, it took a while, and we scraped and clawed our way, but, and it still has a while to go, but I feel like we're in such a good spot. I mean, there's people main event in the biggest shows, and then we just did Wembley, and we had that really, I had such a fun time there. I mean, we just sold it out for like nearly over 85,000 people. Like, it's just, not saying it was just the women for that, but it was just nice as a woman to be a part of something so special like that. So yeah, we're in a good spot for women's wrestling.
What are some of the points of progress that you want to see over the next couple of years in AEW, but just also in general for women's wrestling? Because again, you came in at a really important time and helped like shift it a lot.
Sure, I would like, AEW is doing really well putting multiple female matches on the shows, and I feel like we can keep doing that. And I feel like we can start building the division even bigger, like introduce like female tag team championships, because right now we only have two championships. We have the TBS and the World Women's Championship, right? But we could do tag teams. There's tag teams there, like we can build this division as like something huge and something like, just as big as the guys, because the guys have the trio championships, they have the tag championships, they have all these championships. And it would just be really nice if as women we could have just an extra one. I'm not saying we should be overloaded with championships, like it'd be too much at that point, but just adding a tag thing, championship could spice things up in the division a little bit. Gives a lot of the women something to chase other than just the two championships.
I think it's coming soon enough, and I'm going to pick you and Ruby to get them first if I'm picking any.
Oh, well, I hope so.
Now that
if she behaves herself.
Oh,
yeah.
Her company that she's getting lately.
That greasy boy.
Oh, that boy.
Yeah.
Silly boy.
Stinkies.
Wanted to ask about Wembley before you go. Have to ask about it. Over 80,000 people. Like, speaking of the progress again, it's just a crazy, like all of the videos that came from that and seeing everyone just so united around you. We've also seen just the future of international events as a whole. You guys are going to be going back to Wembley on August 25th.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? It's always around my birthday now, so it's like a nice little birthday present for me. I'm just making it about me. No, but it's really cool to get to go back to the UK, especially because my whole family is over there, and and Tony did such I've never had my family be involved in something like this before. And so for Tony to give us the opportunity then to have my whole family walk out and to be a part of something is really cool. So hopefully we can get them involved. You know, my brother Zach has been doing a few of the Ring of Honor shows, and, you know, something wonderful is coming from that. And I can't wait for you guys to see that. And hopefully he gets to be a part of Wembley, and just anybody I care about, like, they need to experience Wembley, because being in front of a UK crowd, no offense to my Americans out here, but like I have to have my bias here. But
you guys got the songs. We can't compete with songs.
They sing.
They have rhythm and cadence.
They sing. Yeah. They love to sing. Yeah, Brits love to sing, and I'm very, very excited to go back there because they're always rowdy. They're always having a good time. They're happy drunks. You know, like it's just a good time. Yeah.
AEWTix.com is the website to go get tickets. I cannot encourage you enough. Hopefully the interview swayed you, but if it didn't, it's just a fun night out.
Yeah,
it's just a fun night out. It's a performance.
Really,
if you like plays, musicals, whatever, you will like wrestling. I promise.
Oh my gosh,
please.
yes. This is like a live action movie. It's really cool. You got your storyline, but you also have your fight scenes. You know, it's live action. I always say that all the time. If you go to a movie, then you're gonna like wrestling.
Good guys, bad guys.
Yeah,
good girls,
it's like John Wick in the ring over here. Yeah.
Yeah. I do not want to see that personally. Yeah. That's a little bit too much. Saraya, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.